Most people get their first credit card, swipe it a few times, feel pretty good about themselves, and then spend the next 3 years wondering why they keep getting denied for the cards that actually matter. The problem isn't your credit score. The problem is the order. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to American Credit Guide, the channel where we break down the credit card game in plain English so you can actually win it. I'm glad you're here today because this video is one I wish existed when I was starting out. We are talking about the optimal order for getting new credit cards in 2026, and trust me, the sequence matters way more than most people realize. Stick with me through this whole video because the part most people skip is the part that changes everything. Most people get credit cards in the completely wrong order, and it costs them thousands of dollars in rewards they'll never see. I wasted 2 years doing it wrong before I finally figured out the system that actually works. So today, I'm going to walk you through the exact order you should be getting new credit cards in 2026, and why the sequence matters way more than most people realize. Let's start with something nobody talks about. Your first credit card is the most important decision you'll make in this whole journey, not because of the rewards, but because of what it does to your credit profile. If you're just starting out, you want a card with no annual fee, a low barrier to approval, and ideally one that reports to all 3 credit bureaus every month. Think secured cards or student cards if you need them. This is not where you chase points. This is where you build the foundation everything else sits on. And here's why that matters. The moment you start applying for premium cards, lenders are going to look at your credit age, your payment history, and how many hard inquiries you've had recently. If that foundation is weak, you're going to get denied for the good stuff, and every denial is another hard pull dragging your score down. So please, do not skip this step just because the beginner cards feel boring. Now, once you've had that first card for about 6 to 12 months, and you're seeing your score climb into the 680 to 720 range, this is when things start getting interesting. This is when you go after your first cashback card, not your travel card yet, your cashback card. And specifically, you want a flat rate cashback card that gives you 2% on everything. The Citi Double Cash has been the gold standard for years. And in 2026, it's still one of the most straightforward options out there. No categories to track, no activation buttons to press. Just money back on everything you buy. Why start with cashback and not travel? Because travel rewards require strategy. You need to understand transfer partners, redemption values, award availability. If you jump into that world too early, you will either misuse the points or you'll get intimidated and stop engaging with the system altogether. Cashback is simple. It works, and it gives you a full year to keep building your credit while you start learning how the points game actually operates. Alright, now we're getting into the good stuff. Once you've been in the game for about 18 months to 2 years, your score is ideally sitting at 720 or above, and you haven't applied for anything new in the last 6 months. This is when you open your first travel card. And your first travel card should almost always be a mid-tier card, not a premium one, something in the $50 to $95 annual fee range. The Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Capital One Venture are the 2 most common starting points. And honestly, both are excellent choices depending on your lifestyle. Here's the thing people get wrong about this step. They see the Amex Platinum or the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and they want to go straight there. But those cards carry fees of $500 and more per year. And if you don't know how to maximize every single benefit on them, you're just writing a check to the bank. Start mid-tier. Learn the ecosystem. Earn the bonus. And use that year to figure out exactly how you travel and what you actually value in a premium card. Then you're making an informed decision instead of a hype-driven one. Now here's where your strategy needs to get more personal. After that first travel card, the next card you get should fill a specific gap in your spending, not just be a card you've heard is great. Look at your actual purchases over the last 3 months. Are you spending a lot on groceries, gas, dining out, streaming subscriptions? There are cards designed to give you 4, 5, even 6% back in specific categories. If you're dropping $400 a month at the grocery store and your current card is giving you 1% on that, you are literally leaving money on the table every single week. This is also the point in your journey where you need to start thinking about what's called the 524 rule if you want Chase cards in your future. Chase will deny you for most of their best products if you've opened 5 or more credit cards in the last 24 months across any bank. So if premium Chase cards are part of your long-term plan, and for a lot of people they absolutely should be, you need to be strategic about which cards you open and in what order before hitting that limit. Let's talk about timing, because this is where so many people mess up even when they have the right cards in mind. You should generally be waiting at least 6 months between credit card applications, ideally closer to 12 months if you want to keep your score in premium territory. Every hard inquiry drops your score a few points, and lenders get nervous when they see a flurry of new accounts opening in a short window. It signals financial desperation even if the reality is that you're just optimizing. Space your applications out, and your approval odds go way up while your score stays strong. There's also a strategy called gardening that the credit card community talks about, and it's exactly what it sounds like. After a period of opening new cards, you stop. You let your accounts age. You let your average account age increase. You let those inquiries fall off. Usually you garden for about 12 to 18 months before your next application cycle. This is not a waste of time. This is how you maintain access to the best cards long term instead of burning out your credit and getting stuck with mediocre products. Now, let's get to the premium tier, because this is what most people came here for. When should you actually get the Amex Platinum, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, the Capital One Venture X? The answer is when you can genuinely use enough of the benefits to justify the annual fee, not when you feel like you've earned a flex. These cards have credits for things like travel portals, airline lounge access, hotel status, streaming, dining, and more. If you're not flying at least a handful of times a year, the airport lounge access means almost nothing to you. If you don't book hotels through the card's specific portal, the hotel credits disappear. Do the math before you apply, not after. A good rule of thumb is this: take the annual fee of the card, add up only the benefits you will realistically use in the next 12 months. If that number exceeds the annual fee by at least 50%, the card is worth it for you. If you're stretching to justify it, wait. There's no shame in waiting. The card will still be there when your lifestyle actually matches it. One more thing before I wrap up, and it might be the most important point in this entire video. Your credit score is not the goal, it's the tool. People get obsessed with their score going up and down by a few points every time they apply for something new. But the score is just the mechanism that gets you access to better products. Use it strategically. Protect it during the 6 months before any major life purchase, like a mortgage or a car loan. Be willing to let it dip temporarily when the long-term value of a new card justifies it. Treat it like the financial instrument it actually is, not like a grade you're trying to get perfect. So let's bring this all together. Start with a no-fee card to build your foundation. Add a flat-rate cashback card once your score is solid. Open your first mid-tier travel card around the 18-month mark. Then fill spending category gaps. Stay mindful of the 524 rule. Garden between application cycles. And only move into premium cards when you've done the math and the numbers genuinely work in your favor. The people crushing it in the credit card game aren't the ones chasing every shiny new product they see on Reddit. They're the ones who know their own spending, understand the rules of each bank, and build their lineup with patience and intention. Follow this order. Stay consistent. And within 3 years, you can realistically be flying business class on points and paying almost nothing for it. If you want to go deeper on any specific card in this lineup, or you want me to break down the 524 rule in a full, dedicated video, let me know in the comments. I read everything down there and I build videos based on what you actually want to learn. See you in the next one. And that right there is the roadmap. Follow that order. Stay patient. And within a few years, you'll be flying on points and wondering why you didn't start sooner. If this video helped you even a little bit, do me a favor, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Share this with one friend who's trying to figure out the credit card game, because most people are doing this wrong and they don't even know it. Subscribe to American Credit Guide so you don't miss what's coming next. We post every week and it only gets better from here. Drop your questions in the comments below. I read every single one. I'll see you in the next video.